Namaste, good afternoon. I'm going to read this. It's kind of a long one. And somebody had sent a poem slash prayer, they said, which can cause mixed reactions, okay? Anyway, so you'll see how this unfolded. You'll see some people come with very philosophical things, and they're looking for something, and when they don't first get what they think they're looking for, well, you'll see how this unfolds. But again, this is some of the things you deal with when you're a guru and you're open and give that space for people. You know, the only thing that you say is when you come, be respectful. And I think so many people in the West don't know how to be respectful with a guru. They think they're hanging out with their internet buddy, okay? But I'm not your internet buddy, okay? They wouldn't last 2 seconds around my guru. My guru, when people come, they're expected to be there 15 minutes. They don't open their mouth unless he asks them, you know? And then there's no back talk ever, or else they will be shown the door immediately. And that will be the end of it, because no guru owes anybody anything. We do it out of our compassion and our want to aid mankind, aid society, okay? So we give from the heart, and we don't need people's abuse and nonsense and disrespect. So anyway, that being said, I'm going to go ahead and read this very long. Some may find it of interest, okay, but let's go ahead and go forward. A poem prayer which can cause mixed reactions and have deeper meaning than the words in front of you should be analyzed and discussed. I'm hoping to find 1, 2, or more answers from you who can try to interpret a meaning for this. Let it be known that in the moment our Master brought forth from the void of order and light a new existence of glorious dark light, his mighty hands fashioned this world of chaos and love. Our past, our present, and our future are molded by the seeds that he has sown. Through his wisdom, he has given us ancient guardians to tend the chain of time. Their suffering is our link in lineage throughout all time and forever. In honored service, we come before the hymn to pay our age-old debt. We whisper this humble prayer with the knowledge that he will hear our thanks for what he has brought to pass. O Master, we kneel before the mark upon this day, this hour, and this moment to proclaim your dominion and celebrate the day of Apera Arimus. Acceptus allo incolta de veris. Okay, so that was the piece that was sent. So the response here was, beyond the Maya realm is the zero, or the void of light. From the void, which is pregnant emptiness, the world came forth. Maya realm proceeds from the mind and thought, and mind and form contains the link to time. The ancient link of form to so-called life in this ever-changing realm of sensations. But the ultimate life is within the death of form, once again merging back within the pristine pregnant void. When the emptiness is reached and form is but an ideation, the Maya realm dissolves once again into the pristine zero of empty awareness. And that Master, which is mind, is transcended. Then he says, well, that's interesting, but it's not quite what I had in mind. The void of light and pristine zero of empty awareness is close to its interpretation. Then I gave a follow-up answer. I said, in analyzing and discussing, you are within relative mind. You're defeating yourself. You were close when you said go beyond the words. But in analyzing, you do not go beyond words. You're trapped within the concepts, the preconceived notions. Any word brings forth concept and form, thus defeating you in being. To be in pristine awareness, all thought ends, and only silent awareness of the absolute remains. Do not defeat yourself by intellect. Use it to take you as far as it can, then drop it, and you will know what is. You do not know by the five senses, nor by intellect and mind. When all those end, the path you have walked will end with an explosion of all the illusions of truth, the big bang in reverse, throwing you into the realm of absolute isness. And what you step into is that which has always existed and concurrently never existed, simply zero. So he comes back and says, you've proven yourself unworthy of this cause due to the destruction of your own words. In other words, what the hell are you on about? You mentioned the use of simplistic words and simply definitions. Where are they? You mention high scientific theories with the use of the Big Bang in reverse. Do you even understand what you are saying? I don't think your complex, scattered mind is ready for the simple yet abstract interpretation of this passage. The interpretation is in two phases, what you see in front, and number two, what is beyond. You seem to have the right attitude towards these types of issues, so it would be much appreciated if you try another approach. Accepta salo inculta de veris. So again, I respond. You speak of when Maya comes into existence. I speak of what is beyond Maya realm, what it proceeds from. What is being spoken of is what is beyond the five senses and the physical, mental, and emotional. What is beyond this physical, limited existence. When you enter the silence beyond thought, and when all concepts and preconceived notions of what is truth ends, a shattering takes place, and the truth behind existence is revealed. Instead of the Big Bang where Maya realms are created, existence is created. It's like an implosion where the physical realm and that which ties you to it in bondage, your ideations and concepts and conditionings shatter. And in that instant, that which is the essence of all existence, which is not touched by the games of existence, is revealed. And all the so-called truths, the illusions of truth, are like vapor, gone in an instant. Then, when you know what is beyond the physical, ever-changing realm of dream, when you know the essence of self which is beyond any personality, form, or division, when you know absolutely that it is empty in nature, containing all, yet holding nothing. It is zero in nature, yet that zero is what gives value. The emptiness gives value to form. Without the emptiness, there is no form. When you know, and the knowing is not by mental exercise. The knowing is dropping the ego form, and all that remains is that, or God, or zero, or pristine empty awareness, and all has merged back into the infinite where it proceeds from. It is impossible to explain this with terms of intellectual persuasion. It cannot be readily understood by mind. It is that which is beyond the normal rational thought and existence. This is like trying to explain cherries to someone who only knows apples. Until you taste it yourself, you cannot know it. You can either accept what is said, or you can reject it, or you can go within and find out for yourself. It matters not to me which avenue you take. Whichever you take, it will be the right one for you at the time. That's all. Whatever your view, it is your reality of the moment. With a change in perception, your seeming reality will change. Nothing outside changes, but the internal override the externals. Each person's view of reality, quote unquote reality, is different until they go through what is termed here as the implosion, and the illusions are shattered. Then their reality is the same. There are a few that have, and they will know me and I will know them. For we are one and the same. We know that Maya, while having limited existence, constantly changing and affording limitations and sensations, is not the basis for reality. The basis of reality is the constant, the source beyond the ever-changing Maya realm. Once that source or essence or emptiness is rested in, then the limitation of Maya ends. You're ever free. You are and you are not. There are no more illusions you hold to be truth, and you are ever free to be. If you do not agree, that's okay too. Then he comes back and says, very good indeed. Are these your words? Words you have found within, or words you have adopted from another source? Do you believe in what you're saying? What is the dream world? Is it a world in which we are vulnerable to our worst fears, sadness, or joy? Are we able to control our dream destiny, or do we float around the same way as in the real world? Is a dream simply a hidden doorway to the unknown world of the never-changing or never-ending, like the life after death? Do we receive cryptic messages which we can't remember the next morning? Or do our dreams foretell our real-world destiny? If we don't control our dreams, who does? And where do we really go? I said, well, this is turning into quite a dialogue in the end. No, all the words expressed are mine. How could I speak someone else's truth? Then it would not be truth for me, but only hearsay. All that is spoken is from direct experience, not from a presupposed belief system or a stance of perhaps. The dream realm is this state of existence which most would term reality. And yes, this state, most are subject to their joys and fears and believed perceptions, no matter whether they are real or not. To the one who perceives it as truth, it is absolutely real to them, just as to a person who is seeing and hearing things that don't exist. To them at that moment, it is absolute reality. Just as to a person that is in fear, driven by fear, this person's perception is that the world is a place of caution, of fear, and that is their reality. As you progress upon the path, you will see a change first in your sleeping dream states. You will come to a point where you're aware you're dreaming, in a lucid dream state where you can interact within the dream. And as you keep progressing, eventually the dream state ends. and you no longer have a sleeping dream state. At that point, you awaken to the fact that this so-called reality is another dream state, albeit a much more extended version. This existence becomes only a longer, lucid dream where you know you are interacting, and because you know it is basically mind-created, you can move beyond any type of bondage. Once you have seen the truth, then you are free within yourself. Yes, there is an absolute belief in what is being spoken. The sense of personality ends, and when the illusions have shattered, you are no longer the person you thought you were. That person for me no longer exists. Looking back, there is no longer any relationship to what was before. Everything shattered, and only the clear light of being remains. And that is the truth, every word. And now this is my only subject. Here is a poem that was written right after waking up to the reality behind life. No more entertaining the mind of thoughts, nor dreaming the dream of death. For finally the self appears. The non-self is no more, vanishing as dew upon a hot day. And when the ego self is slain, in that moment beyond time, what is there that remains? Consciousness, walking in bliss. Awaken to the truth of emptiness, the formless constant beyond aspects, and Maya becomes the playground of dream. The transient thought-created realm of self-imposed limitations of experience, and all exists in bliss. Here is one more. It is called the dream. Another day has come and gone. Another dream unfolds, overlapping one to another. We forage through to the truth beyond. Let me not be so caught up in the dream of the transient that the constant is not lived. For truly the constant is the ultimate truth, and the rest is just icing on the cake. The emptiness which proceeds from consciousness as form, the dreams of life that are held so dear, and we are it all, and yet beyond it all. The emptiness of formless consciousness, rest in the silence of bliss, consciousness, and truth, Sat Chit Anand. And that was the end of that. I never heard another word. This person. So sometimes on the site you get someone that is wants to get into very deep, some philosophical types of things, and just one never knows what's going to arise. You get questions on the path, you get questions on life, you get questions on philosophy. One just never knows. So namaste, have a great day. I hope you've enjoyed this. Namaste.